apostles about how the least shall be the greatest, he reminds them, "It is you who have stood by me in my trials." Again, to recall the introduction for the Mass today, that by God's grace we might become sharers in Jesus' passion and death, and so in his resurrection and the gift of new and everlasting life. Sharers. As we share in that mystery, we have the opportunity to stand by Jesus, to stand with Jesus in his trials. And there's that mystical way in which, as we're members of his body, the church, his trials become ours, and ours, in a sense, become his. And so again, we do well as we enter into this Holy Week, perhaps to recall any trials, to call them to mind or heart that we're facing currently, any challenges, any suffering, and to remember that these, here now, present us with a special opportunity to draw near to Jesus. I had my own little special trial this Lenten season, and it was striking. My mother just had to have her shoulder replaced this past week. It went very smoothly. She's doing well, but there was an interesting way in which, having to deal with this, I was able to kind of draw nearer to her in her preparation for her own surgery, and then in the days following it, just with a sense of love, with a sense of compassion, with a sense of solidarity. And I think we notice that in various aspects of our lives. When we compete with others on a team, we notice it hopefully in our marriages and family life, when we work with others and we take on challenging projects and friendships. But that when we're able to stand with others amidst trials, amidst difficulties and adversity, we so often, if we're persistent and persevering, if we trust in God and his saving help, we so often are drawn more deeply into love. And isn't that what we're invited to fundamentally during this holiest week of the year? And indeed every day in the church's life, as we celebrate day after day, in season and out, the paschal mystery of Jesus, his suffering, death, and resurrection, we're always invited to draw near to him, especially in his trials, but also in his risen and new life. And there's something that happens, again, I noticed this dealing with my hand and then talking to my mom a bit in preparation for and after her surgery. There's a way in which when you're sharing a trial with somebody, you often tend to reach out a little bit more eagerly. There's a sense of kind of sweetness that comes with it. We're in this together. Your love kind of bubbles up more easily. And isn't that opportunity always there for us with the Lord? That as we face our trials with him and in him, that as we share in his trials, we're able to relate to him even more tenderly, even more sweetly, trusting that he is there with us, trusting that we're never alone in those times, trusting that as we face those things within and in him, he's ever drawing us more deeply into the mystery of his life and of his saving love. So may we approach this Holy Week, brothers and sisters, with that sense of confidence. May we approach all of life's trials and difficulties with that sense of hope. May we look with joyful expectation to the fact that as we walk with Jesus, as we draw near to him, especially and even as we suffer with him, that he's always there with that promise of transforming us and renewing our hearts and lives with his saving love.